Hey everybody! Today I want to talk about some of the myths that I've heard growing up and some of the myths that I see people posting. And to me, they're a little bit funny, but the number one myth that I see that makes me laugh and kind of roll my eyes is you have to cast far to catch big fish. And this is something that makes me laugh because I definitely do not cast as far as most of you out there. I've been to these casting practices and I know that I can comfortably cast 70 to 80 yards, 85 yards max, and that's pushing it. Um, but even though you're not able to cast far per se, the fish do come in close to shore. A good example of this is during Halalu and Oama season. The Omilu, the Papio, the Kava Kava even, they're not looking at, oh, the water's shallow, I better not go eat. They're just hungry. They're coming in for an easy meal, and regardless of how deep the water is, they're gonna charge the Oama, they're gonna charge the Halalu schools. I'm not sure if you folks have seen this, but I saw a video maybe last year or the year before. It was at Waimea Bay where there's a bunch of omilu, probably about 3 pounds. They're just charging onto the shore trying to get Oama. And honestly, I don't think that Papio was thinking, oh, the water's too shallow, I better not go over there. They're just hungry. They're looking for food. An example of a time where I personally caught a pretty good sized fish while fishing in extremely shallow, very close water is this picture of an o'eel I'm gonna show. This o'eel was caught in probably 3 to 4 feet of water. I was trying to cast and I don't know what I was thinking, I don't know what I was doing, but as soon as I brought the pole over to cast, my reel just poofed up and I just had a massive bird nest. My reel just looked like a mess. And my lead, my hook, my bait probably went 15 feet, if that. I think I probably could have grabbed my bait, my lead, and just thrown it further than I casted it. So I'm over there trying to take out this bird nest, trying to, take out all of this loose line. And I start noticing that the line is being pulled out. And I'm thinking, nah, it's gotta be the current, it's gotta be the surf, it cannot be a fish. But as I keep doing that, the line keeps going out. I turn around and I look at my dad, and he gives me the thumbs up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening. There's a fish on there. And the next thing that crosses my mind is, how am I gonna set this hook? I just have a bunch of loose line coming out. I got the bird nest out, but I didn't have, very much tension on the line. And I'm thinking, there's no way this fish is gonna hook up. So my hasty decision was to wrap the line around my hand and just hope that the fish wasn't going to pull so hard that the line, cut my skin. And as soon as I did that, I just felt the pull double over and I was like, oh my God, I released it. And I was lucky enough that the fish actually got hooked. I was able to flip the bail and reel in what actually ended up being a 7-pound o'eel. And what I learned from that experience is just because you didn't throw far, just because the water was shallow, doesn't mean you don't have the opportunity to catch a fish. I believe that fish are very food motivated, and when it comes to where they're going to look for food, I don't think they're necessarily thinking about their safety or how deep the water is. Another example of this would be the people who fish the flats. I've been told and I've even seen the eel are probably in, 6, 8 inches of water. You can see their dorsal fin and tail just sticking out. And a lot of these fly fishermen in particular, they're sight fishing. They're casting to the o'eel or to the papio that they see. And personally, from what I've seen, when you hook up to a fish in shallow water, they are hightailing it out of there. The fight is so much better. I think that the fish are realizing as soon as they're hooked, oh my God, I'm in shallow water, I'm exposed, I need to get the heck out of here. And they're just booking it off that reef. It's amazing to me to see how much stronger the fight is, because really, I don't think the size of the fish is any different. I think they're just much more motivated to get off that reef because they think, I'm in danger now because there's something, hooking me, there's something in my mouth, and I need to get out of here ASAP. I know another example that my dad would tell me stories of is Uncle Toshi's house. He lived on Laie Point, and off the back of his house, my dad would describe a really flat reef. And a lot of the times, my dad would tell me they would just throw on this reef, and the water probably isn't any deeper than 3 to 4 feet. But as I said earlier, they're very food motivated creatures. The ulua would come up on that reef to feed. And instead of being upright, they're actually coming in on their side to go ahead and, eat the taco, eat whatever's on the reef. And I think that's something to keep in mind, because you don't necessarily need to be the best caster to catch these fish. I will say though, it is good to have a great range in your casting distance. This opens up the opportunity to fish in places that other people can't access. I know personally, ever since my dad stopped casting, um, there are places where I absolutely cannot reach the sand. I'm not able to get to, the quote unquote good area to fish. But that doesn't mean I don't fish that area. I have noticed that I'm less productive, less fish are coming up, but it doesn't mean you're completely lost because you're not able to reach a certain spot. I think it's more important to learn the area that you're fishing and be consistent in fishing that same spot until you kind of get it dialed in. Because just the other month, I think I went back to a spot that I haven't fished in probably 8 months. And just like clockwork, I get there at about 6 o'clock in the morning, just as the sun is, rising, throw out my bait, and got lucky, caught an oil. So keep fishing the same spots for a little while, get used to that area, and I promise that'll help. So this was a long-winded video of me trying to say no, that myth of you need to cast far and fish like deep water. I think it's false. Let me know if you guys have, different experiences. Let me know if you think otherwise. I gladly hear other people's comments on this. Thanks for watching, and I hope to catch you at the next one.